far right and an ideologue wanting all of Israel. I mean, the Likud charter even basically says from river to the sea, it's all going to be Israel, and there's not going to be any Palestine.
But we're not allowed to say that.
Yeah, we're not right, but the Likud says it, and it's in their charter, and Netanyahu's been very proud of the fact that he was able to dismantle the Oslo Accords. He was able to basically make it, fund Hamas and keep the Palestinian people divided in order to prevent the rise of a Palestinian independent nation. He doesn't want that. But these people you're talking about, the people that allowed him to come back to power as a prime minister, and Israel's had a lot of governmental problems over the last few years, unable to form a government, election after election after election with no success. So they're in real turmoil. And he did. He had to align himself even with further right people than him, which is really something. And then declare we're going to annex the West Bank completely. Like it's going to be ours. Just going and annexing the Golan Heights, going and just real extreme propositions, like you say, people that are very extreme and radical, even more than him, which is a lot.
And the interesting thing is that the United States was running cover for them through the Abraham Accord.
Yeah.
It was negotiated by Trump, implemented by Trump, started by Trump. But the Abraham Accord, it gives lip service to the notion of a Palestinian state. But if you read it, what it really is a death sentence to the Palestinian state, because there can be no Palestinian state there.
Right, with the way it was.
It also, it goes into the normalization of relations with the Gulf Arab nations. Israel is getting ready to normalize relations with Saudi Arabia, which would have been the crowning achievement of the Abraham Accord, the end of a Palestinian state, when the whole house came tumbling down on October 7th. Benjamin Netanyahu is the man to blame there. He's desperate. He knows that if, for instance, he did the honorable thing and resigned today, that he would be held accountable for his corruption. He would spend the rest of his life in jail. He may be criminally liable for some of the things that happened on October 7th. We don't know until there's a commission report. So he's desperate. So his only recourse right now is extreme policies. And he's not looking for a war with Iran because he knows, that Israel can't win. They've done two exercises, Chariots of Fire last year, Firm Hand this year, where they stress tested the IDF, and they know they can't win a war against Iran. They can't win a war against Hezbollah. This is why America's deployed so much military force in as a deterrence against that. But America also knows that we can't win a war against Iran, that to beat Iran will require years, 900,000 troops, and even then it's not guaranteed. Nobody wants this war, but Netanyahu's playing a game where he's going to push the envelope as much as possible to keep America always reacting to keep Iran out of the fight, to force America to embrace Netanyahu as close as possible. So we're doing that, but at the same time, we're starting to play the propaganda game, and we're starting to get CNN and others to start to lose, because the idea here is to engender doubt amongst the American Jewish population. If you can get the American Jewish population to break with Netanyahu, then Netanyahu's days are finished. Right now, he's holding on because AIPAC, the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, is telling him, we got the situation under control. How under control do they have it? We just got a new Speaker of the House. And, nice Republican MAGA guy from Louisiana, a good American boy. He's going to help America, make America great again. First order of business. Was it to help the homeless? Was it to reduce the deficit? Was it to, fund the U.S. military? Nope. We're going to send money to Israel. Bam, ladies and gentlemen, you just found out the whole thing. U.S. Congress is bought and paid for by the Israeli lobby, by Israel. Don't take my word for it. Ariel Sharon openly bragged about it when he was prime minister. Benjamin Netanyahu openly brags about it. They disrespect us so much that they buy our Congress, and then they brag about owning us, about owning it. And the proof is in the pudding. When the Speaker of the House, first order of business at a moment when America is suffering so much to send more money to Israel, you know who's running the show.
Yeah. Okay, so just to make some points here, guys. Iran is preparing to attack Israel. Israel knows that this is going to be the end of them. If Iran comes to attack Israel with full force, with the help of Russia, that will be the end of Israel. Maybe not necessarily the end of U.S. and its economy, but Israel, for them, is the end of it. Why I'm saying this is because, think about this. Israel, the diaper army, they're fighting these militias from Hezbollah, from Hamas, for how many years now? For decades. Are they able to win? Are they able to defeat them? Not at all. Can you imagine if a country comes to fight with Israel, how terrified they will be? I mean, this is unbelievable. And this is why perhaps perhaps why Netanyahu and Israeli government, they want US to get directly involved in this war with Iran. Now, the irony of this all is that even though if Iran is being tackled by US, they will face Russia. They will face Russia and, of course, China, because every time Russia gets under attack, China comes to the rescue, just like they did with Ukraine. They helped Russia. Giving them intelligence. They gave them everything they had at their disposal. So guys, we're talking about Israel that is facing existential threat, and Iran attacking Israel is going to be the end of it. But the good news for Israel is that Iran is not going to do that. Iran wants Israel to bleed to death. They want Israel to bleed to death. And this is why we don't see Iran coming all out with all their forces to destroy Israel. Even though this is what they chant, the Irani military generals, their rhetoric coming from Tehran is always death to Israel. But guess what? They decided to do it with their proxies, not direct confrontation. So Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthis, all of these entities, they are fighting for Iran, and Iran is just enjoying a cup of tea.
And AIPAC has been blatantly out there for Netanyahu. They don't want anybody but Netanyahu. They are pro-Netanyahu, and that's it. It's not even being, right now, it's not even just being pro-Israel, which they are, it's amazing. People hear AIPAC, but they don't realize that it's, like you said, American Israel Public Affairs Committee. This is imagine if it was American China Public Affairs Committee, people would be losing their minds.
Registered as a foreign agent.
Yeah, right. They would be losing their minds, saying you are working on behalf, you are a PAC, literally working on behalf of a foreign government, working on behalf of a foreign, this is not about Americans. And yet it's extremely, extremely powerful.
But Israel isn't a foreign government. Israel is an extension of America, according to so many people. Look, we allow this, we allow American Jews, when they turn 18, to go to Israel and enlist in the Israeli armed forces, the armed forces of a foreign country. Now, people say, well, come on, there's never going to be a problem between Israel and America. Let me take you to September 1982. American Marines were put on the ground outside of Beirut to provide a buffer so that the PLO could be evacuated after Israel invaded Lebanon, went up to Beirut, surrounded it. We were there. 3 Israeli tanks, British Centurion tanks, attempted to cross Marine lines to get where they weren't supposed to be. A Marine captain got on top of the tank, told him, you can't go here. The Israeli ignored him. He pulled out his pistol, put it to the Israeli officer's head, so I'll blow your brains out if you move one step forward. If you don't think America is capable of confronting the Israelis, you don't know a damn thing about the complexity of American-Israeli relationships. I'm telling you right now that if you're an American working for the Israeli government as a member of the IDF, you've betrayed your country because your loyalty is to this country. But see, now I'm anti-Semitic. Now the ADL will call me anti-Semitic because they dare question the loyalty of somebody who says, I want to wear the uniform of another nation, taking an oath to another nation, not an oath to the Constitution, an oath to Israel. And understand that if push comes to shove and another American Marine jumps up on the tank and that guy is in the tank, he's going to have to shoot that Marine as an American.
Right. We had a member of Congress show up to Congress wearing an IDF uniform.
Should have been arrested on the spot.
Should have been arrested on the spot. Should have been completely. That should have been. That should be considered.
Could you
treason.
Imagine who's the representative from Michigan who's getting in trouble right now?
Rashida
the Palestinian.
Tlaib. Yeah,
Rashida. And I'm not a big fan of Rashida. I'm not, but I'm a huge free speech person, and free speech is free speech. And she didn't say anything. You can disagree with what she says, but what did Justice Brandeis say in the Supreme Court? The antidote to speech that you don't like is more free speech.
Right.
Meaning, if you don't like what they're saying, say something that opposes them. Instead, they censor her. But imagine if she showed up and she just said, I'm going to wear a green Hamas thing with Arab. I'm just going to show them, go, hey, I'm Hamas, baby. What do you guys think of that? She'd have been shot, first of all, coming in. They'd have shot her, literally shot her. They let a guy wear an IDF uniform as an American congressman in Congress. This is almost as bad as when Congress let 4 members of the Azov battalion come into Congress to address them. We let Nazis in. We let Zionists in. What the hell is going on with our neighborhood?
Yeah, it's really awful. It's really, really awful.
Of course, there are a lot of things about American politics that are very, very awful, and I think it is time for the Americans to really take their country back. Literally, they are under occupation. It's not the Palestinians who are living under occupation. The Americans are facing the same fate. They have no freedom of speech. They have no right to express their opinion in their politics. They have absolutely zero right. Everything is decided by the Zionist lobby. So American people, for your own sake, for your own interest, you really need to understand what the Palestinians are going through and really do whatever it is that you need to do in order to free yourself from the state of Israel, because this claw of the Zionist regime, this Zionist entity, is being extended to every corner of the world. Every corner of the world. Every time if a country makes a decision, it is based on how it will benefit the Zionist lobby. Take an example for the Middle Eastern countries. Saudi Arabia, they wanted to normalize their ties. The claw is there. Take example for UAE. They are already being influenced by the Zionist lobby, and that's why they have normalized their ties with Israel. Take example, take the country Egypt, Sisi. All of these countries, not just Middle East, South America, Argentina right now is suffering. Even though on the surface level, a lot of countries are opposing what Israel is doing in Gaza, nevertheless, their fate, the country's government, whether they will win an election or not, whatever the mandates are, it must include a complete allegiance to the state of Israel, including the country I live in, including the country you live in. You are being influenced, highly influenced by the Zionist lobby. Therefore, it is in the interest not just for the Palestinian people or the US American people, but for the interest of the world citizen, that we take back our freedom from the Zionist lobby, because they are going to be committing more genocide, more murder. They're going to kill more children and women, and they are never going to stop until they see the whole world will collapse. The whole world will fight with each other to save the state of Israel. This is exactly where we're heading. This is exactly what I believe is the plan. Guys, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. See you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.